Hello again, everyone. Hopefully, after a week of getting back into the swing of things, we're more or less into the sort of rhythm that we need to be for not just this class, but the semester as a whole. Might take a little bit longer. Maybe you were ready before things started. I don't know. It's hard to say for sure. Anyway, here we're going to keep moving on to finish off Chapter 1 and start moving into Chapter 2, where for our last section of Chapter 1, Section 1.3, we are talking about problem solving, where in particular we're looking at a process called Polya's 4 steps to problem solving. I'm going to mention it a couple times in example a bit explicitly, but as we get going there, we're going to see that we don't necessarily need to follow all 4 steps in detail there, because a little bit of it's sort of natural. It's just the way you probably should do these things without really thinking about it. But that one's all about applications to the real world. And then in Chapter 2, we're getting a little bit more abstract for a little while as we talk about something called set theory, where 2.1 is about setting the basic notation that we have for these things in terms of what it means to be a set, what the elements of a set are, what the empty set is, how we define and describe the number of things in a set, as well as a few very natural, pun intended, sets that we can talk about to build up that intuition. And then in 2.2, we're going to extend that to a very natural place to look at a thing called a subset, which is essentially just a set inside of another set. It's a collection of things in there, as well as how many subsets a given finite set can have. And then with all of this, we have our standard set. Like I said in the last sections videos, in the last introduction, a lot of this is going to follow a fairly predictable pattern. I would say a lot of it's going to be pretty sensible once we start getting the rhythm here for how these things roll, where we have a worksheet due by the end of the week to get some more practice with these things, writing them out a little bit more. Then we have deadlines in MyLab for these 2 sections due next Wednesday. And after that, well, kind of before that, it depends on how you want to approach these things, we've got a pre-assessment that's due next Monday to introduce the ideas for the rest of Chapter 2. And we move through the first couple of chapters fairly quickly. They're not super deep. There are some kind of subtle things going on at the end of Chapter 2, but we'll get there next week. For now, let's finish off Chapter 1 with some of that problem solving.